In this guided tour, you'll see how eService 360, Contract Administration for Microsoft Dynamics GP, can help you efficiently and effectively manage service contracts throughout your organization, including scheduled and usage-based billing, GAAP-compliant revenue recognition, fully embedded credit card and eCheck payment processing, and external systems integration. We'll show you how easy it is to manage workflow across the entire lifecycle of a service contract. You'll see how to transfer a quote to a contract, set up billing, revenue, and usage schedules, as well as coverage options and escalations. We'll then generate billing and revenue transactions, process credit card and eCheck payments, and finally print or email the invoices. So let's get started. Transferring a quote to a contract in eService 360 is quick and efficient. To see how it works, just follow the steps on the screen. Let's start with an existing quote that's already been approved by the customer. To transfer this quote to a contract, simply click the Transfer button. Now, update the quote information and click Transfer to create the contract order. The newly created contract order entry form has 5 sections. The header is where you specify the document date, address, and type of contract. The second section contains contract, billing, and revenue defaults that will be assigned to each new contract coverage line. These default values are inherited from the contract type and can be overridden by the user at runtime. The middle section is a scrolling window where you can list one or more covered items, the coverage period, a billing method of either fixed fee or non-billable, and the coverage price. This highlighted section displays the workflow operations defined for this document. Workflow technology automatically routes the document sequentially to each work center where the prescribed operation is performed. And finally, the summary section displays the fixed fee subtotal, billed services, billed item usage, and the document total. Now, follow the steps on the screen to save the document. Now we're ready to create a new service contract. So let's begin by clicking the New button. Entering a contract requires minimal keystrokes. Start by entering or selecting a customer from the lookup window. When you enter the customer ID, notice how the document header and default sections are automatically filled with information from the contract type. Entering the fields on a contract coverage line is fast and easy. Just follow the steps on the screen. Let's use the Covered Item Lookup window to populate the contract coverage line. Just follow the steps on the screen. Notice all of the fields on the coverage line are automatically filled from the contract defaults. And understand that the coverage period for the contract line may be shorter than the term of the contract, allowing you to add new covered items to an existing contract in the middle of the term. Furthermore, each coverage line can be temporarily suspended by placing it on hold, with the option to void any billing transactions generated during the hold period. This allows you to work with customers who need the flexibility to temporarily suspend and resume contract coverage at a later time. The contract summary section highlighted provides information such as fixed fees, tax, and subtotal. Now, let's set the payment type for this contract. Just follow the steps on the screen. Now use the Customer Card Lookup window to select the MasterCard. Now, let's close the contract payment window by clicking the OK button. This concludes the setup of the contract, but let's take a more in-depth look at the billing and revenue schedules, as well as the coverage details and options. To view and update the billing and revenue schedules, follow the steps on the screen. The coverage line billing window is divided into 3 sections. This section displays important information from the coverage line on the contract, including the covered item, coverage type, and the extended price. The billing section allows you to specify one of 8 billing methods, as well as the underlying schedule from which the coverage price is billed to the customer. The billing period is fully user-defined and can be different than the coverage period. Now, let's take a look at the billing frequency options. The first 7 frequency options are termed periodic and evenly allocate the coverage price over a predefined number of billing cycles. Notice this monthly billing schedule evenly distributes the coverage price over 12 months. On the other hand, the scheduled option allows you to manually specify the number of billing cycles and the dates on which they're scheduled to be billed. Notice this manual billing schedule specifies 4 cycles, of which 50% of the coverage price is scheduled on January 1, and the remaining balance distributed equally over the next 3 quarters. This kind of flexibility is essential when managing complex, non-standard billing schedules. Now, let's take a look at revenue. Separate from the billing schedule, this section enables you to select one of 8 GAAP-compliant methods by which the coverage price can be recognized as revenue in the financial accounts of the general ledger. Using the drop-down list, select the revenue method that best meets your requirements and complies with generally accepted accounting principles. The periodic option works much like it does for billing. There are 7 periodic frequencies and 1 manually scheduled frequency that provide maximum flexibility in defining a revenue recognition schedule. The when billed method does not have its own revenue schedule. Instead, it utilizes the billing schedule to recognize revenue when the customer is billed. The remaining methods are units-based. In other words, they apply the units of production method of revenue recognition. You can choose service orders, vehicle, technician, tool, or team hours, or meter usage in determining the percentage of the coverage price to recognize. Now, let's take a look at usage-based billing. In addition to the fixed fee billing method, a coverage line may also be billed based on usage of the item covered by that line. For example, a service contract on a copier may specify a fixed monthly fee plus a usage charge based on the number of copies made during that month. To set up allowances and usage rates, simply follow the steps on the screen. The coverage line usage window is divided into 3 sections. The first section displays the coverage line details and allows you to specify if and/or how covered item usage will be billed. The middle section allows you to specify allowances, a billing method, and 5 overage rate tiers for up to 3 separate meters. In our copier example, there may be a usage meter for color copies and a separate meter for black and white copies, each with different allowances and overage rates. And finally, the bottom section displays the billing schedule for the covered item, with historical values and the ability to drill back to the original invoice. Now let's follow the steps on the screen and close this window. Next, let's see how coverage details, options, and escalations can streamline and improve your service operations. Just follow the steps on the screen. The coverage line details window is divided into 3 sections and allows you to specify how services rendered for the covered item are configured and processed. The top section displays document, coverage, and price book information, while the middle section displays the default values used when creating a corrective maintenance service order for the covered item. The highlighted area of the bottom section specifies coverage markdowns and limits for corrective maintenance services and resources. The information depicted in this area would provide the customer with a 10% markdown on corrective maintenance services and resources up to a maximum of $1,000. The next highlighted area specifies coverage markdowns and limits for preventive maintenance services and resources. The information depicted in this area would provide the customer with a 100% markdown on all preventive maintenance, services, and resources. Now, let's close this window and take a look at coverage options. Just follow the steps on the screen. This window is also divided into 3 sections. The first section displays the document, coverage, and price book information. Notice the escalation field. It reflects the amount by which the base price is adjusted using the age of the covered item. Let's take a quick look at the escalation maintenance window to see how that works. This window allows you to maintain a table of amounts and percentages by which the base coverage price is adjusted using the age of the covered item. Now, let's return to the coverage line options window. The second section of this window allows you to specify pricing options and methods by which the escalated base price of the covered item is adjusted. And finally, the third section provides a breakdown of the extended price of the covered item. Now, let's go ahead and close these windows and take a look at the contract billing process. Just follow the steps on the screen. The contract billing window is divided into 3 sections. Section 1 allows you to specify the branch, interface options, and various dates used to prepare and post invoices in Microsoft Dynamics GP. Use Section 2 to enter any restrictions you may want to apply when selecting eligible contract lines for billing. And finally, Section 3 allows you to collectively or individually include eligible contract lines for billing. Just follow the steps on the screen to include all eligible contract lines and print an edit listing. Use the edit list to ensure that the transaction batch is error-free. Then, follow the steps on the screen to print and email invoices. Now, specify the sort order, document format, and destination options. Then, follow the steps on the screen to print and email the documents. The displayed invoices are based on a Microsoft Word template available in Dynamics GP, so it's easy to tailor the invoice format to your specific needs. These documents are now printed, emailed, and ready for posting. So let's follow the steps on the screen to see how easy it is to process credit card and eCheck payments. In the Sales Batch Entry window, let's enter or select the batch for which credit card and eCheck payments will be processed. Just follow the steps on the screen. This batch processing report provides all the transaction details for both approved and declined payment transactions. It's instrumental in the handling of declined transactions and performing the daily settlement process on the BluePay web portal. Now follow the steps on the screen to post the batch in Dynamics GP. To post this batch, simply click the Post button. The posting journal provides the details for all transactions in the batch. Erroneous transactions will remain in the batch until they are error-free and successfully posted. This concludes the guided tour of eService 360, Contract Administration from PureLogic. Thank you for watching.